Welcome back to the Agentic AI podcast. Today we're tackling uh, a massive paradox that's sitting right at the heart of the modern enterprise.
Right.
It's about the unsung heroes of the digital world, the DevOps teams. They're the ones keeping the lights on, making sure your app doesn't crash. But here's the paradox. The very people tasked with enabling speed are, well, they're increasingly becoming the biggest bottleneck.
It is a fascinating contradiction, isn't it? We have more tools, more automation than ever, and yet developer velocity, the actual speed we can ship new features, is often grinding to a halt.
That's it.
It's what the industry is starting to call the hidden cost of DevOps.
Exactly. And we're not just talking about a slow server here or there. This is a systemic drag on the entire business. I was looking at some industry metrics, and the stakes are they're incredibly high. Something like, 33% of organizations are citing skills shortages as a major challenge. They literally can't find enough people who understand this stuff.
And it gets worse. On top of that skills gap, you've got another 29% pointing to legacy architectures making everything harder.
Oh, wow.
So you have a shortage of experts, and the ones you do have are trying to manage these incredibly complex, often outdated systems. It's a pressure cooker.
You can see how that leads to frustration.
You get developer frustration, reliability issues, and frankly, team morale just erodes under the weight of constant firefighting.
Firefighting is the perfect word for it. Feels like ops teams are just running from one blaze to another, never getting the chance to actually build fireproof buildings.
Exactly.
But today we're going to talk about the pivot. We're moving away from the old way of doing things, this ticket-based operations model, and looking at the rise of AI-powered self-service platforms.
This is the game changer, and I want to be really clear for everyone listening. This is not just about writing better scripts.
Right.
This is a fundamental shift from rigid, static tools to on-demand intelligent systems that actually understand intent. This is Agentic AI really entering the DevOps space.
I love that distinction, and we're going to drill down on that. But before we get to the solution, I want to fully unpack the pain. Let's define the friction. Where exactly are these bottlenecks happening?
It's a good question because for a lot of decision makers, DevOps is just a black box that money goes into.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you look inside that box, the friction is everywhere. The classic example is environment provisioning.
Okay.
Let's say you're a developer, you've written some great code, you want to test it. You need a staging environment, basically a sandbox that looks like the real world.
Standard stuff.
In a traditional setup, you have to file a ticket, and then you wait.
And you wait, and you wait some more.
Exactly. You might wait for days. And why? Because someone on the ops team who is already overworked has to manually configure everything. The server, the database, the networking.
And in the meantime, that developer is twiddling their thumbs. Or worse, context switching to another project, which just kills their flow.
It completely destroys their flow. Precisely. Then you have access requests, security reviews that sit in queues for days. And this leads to a really dangerous phenomenon we see all the time called shadow IT.
Oh, I know this one. That's when developers get so impatient waiting for permission that they just, spin up their own servers on a corporate credit card.
And bypass security entirely, which is a nightmare for compliance. But it happens because the right way just takes too long. People want to get their jobs done.
Of course.
Then you have CI/CD complexity, and finally, alert fatigue. The systems are screaming with so much data logs, metrics, errors, that the ops team just can't tell the signal from the noise.
It sounds exhausting. Like you need a PhD just to figure out why your pager's going off.
It is, and it all leads to this tribal knowledge trap.
The tribal knowledge trap. Is that where, only one person knows how to fix the really weird bug?
Yes, it's the Dave knows how that server works problem. Manual one-books rely on specific people knowing specific quirks. If Dave is on vacation or if Dave quits...
The whole organization is in trouble.
Exactly. It makes onboarding a nightmare and scaling impossible. You can't clone Dave.
So we've established the current state is brittle, slow, and held together by human glue. Let's talk about the solution.
Yeah.
You mentioned this shift from automation to intelligence. I feel like we use automation for everything. How is this different from just a really good Terraform script?
That is the million-dollar question. Traditional automation tools like Ansible Terraform is powerful, but it is rigid. It executes a predefined script. It does exactly what you tell it to do step by step.
Okay.
But if the context changes, say a cloud provider changes an API or a server is under a load the script didn't account for, the script breaks.
It's like a train on a track. If the track is blocked, the train stops. It can't steer around the obstacle.
Perfect analogy. AI-driven self-service is like an off-road vehicle with a GPS and a driver. It uses learning algorithms to interpret intent. It understands the goal.
Oh, okay.
So if the standard path is blocked, the AI can adapt, retry, or ask for more information. It's dynamic.
And this is where internal developer platforms, or IDPs, come in.
Right. IDPs are the vehicle for all this. An IDP provides a unified interface. So instead of a developer needing to know how to log into AWS, configure a VPC, manage security groups, they just go to the IDP. It's a single portal.
Okay, but I can hear the nervous ops managers listening right now thinking, wait, you're just letting developers push buttons? That sounds like chaos.
And that is the common fear. But self-service, when it's done right, actually increases control. It's not about removing rules, it's about embedding them. We call it guardrails.
So the platform itself enforces the security and compliance policies automatically.
Exactly. The platform team stops being the Department of No.
And they become ROS.
They shift from being gatekeepers to enablers. They design the highway and set the speed limits, but they stop driving every single car.
That is a crucial mindset shift. Okay, I want to look under the hood. What does the architecture of one of these AI platforms actually look like? It's not just ChatGPT glued to a server, right?
No, definitely not. Please don't do that. If we look at the principles from groups like, say, lowtouch.ai or the Google SRE handbooks, there are really 4 specific layers that make these agentic platforms work.
Okay, walk us through them. Layer 1.
Layer 1 is the interface layer. This is moving away from complex forms with 100 dropdowns that nobody understands. We're moving toward natural language processing, NLP.
So a user can just chat with a system.
Right. You type, set up a new database cluster for the marketing project.
Simple as that. No checkboxes, just plain English.
Exactly. But that request has to go somewhere. So that leads to the intelligence layer. This is the brain. It uses LLMs, large language models, to process that intent. But it's not just the words. It uses context engines to look at the user's profile, the system's state.
It's understanding the who, what, and why.
Exactly. And it uses policy reasoning to ask, is this person allowed to have a database? What size? In what region? Once it decides what to do, it passes that to the automation layer.
Where the rubber meets the road.
This layer integrates with those infrastructure as code tools Terraform, Pulumi, and uses agentic AI runbooks to execute these complex sequences.
So AI tells the script what to do. It provides the parameters for the code.
Yes. And finally, and this is critical, you have the observability and feedback loop. The system watches itself. Logs, metrics, they all feed back into the AI.
So it learns.
It learns. If a deployment fails, it understands why. It optimizes future interactions based on real data. That's what turns it from a static tool into an adaptive learning system.
Let's make this real. Let's walk through some scenarios. What does this look like on a Tuesday morning when things are getting crazy? Let's start with that staging environment.
Okay, scenario 1, the staging environment. Old world.
Yeah.
File a ticket, you wait 3 days.
Right.
Agentic AI world. The developer opens a chat window and says, I need a staging environment for the new payment gateway feature.
And behind the scenes.
The AI detects the intent. It checks the policy. Okay, payment team, they're allowed these resources. It checks the budget. Then it triggers the automation layer to provision everything. And within minutes, it replies, your environment is ready. Here are the credentials.
Minutes, not days. That's pure velocity.
Huge velocity. Now let's up the stakes. Scenario 2, the rollback. It's Friday afternoon, you deploy code, the site crashes.
The absolute nightmare scenario. Every engineer's worst fear.
Usually this is just panic, frantic phone calls, digging through logs. With an AI platform, the system observes the error rate spiking. The AI analyzes the logs, correlates the spike with the recent deployment, and identifies the issue.
So it finds the cause.
It finds the cause, and crucially, it can execute a safe rollback automatically to the last known good state. It stops the bleeding. Downtime goes from hours to seconds.
Incredible. What about troubleshooting? Not a full crash, but just weirdness. The app feels slow.
This is AI ops. Let's say there's a latency spike. A human has to look at 10 different dashboards. An AI can look at all those data streams at once. It correlates the metrics, pinpoints the cause. Hey, this specific query is locking the database, and suggests a fix.
It's like a detective that can read 1 million pages of evidence in a second.
Exactly. And the final one is context-aware approvals. Instead of waiting for a manager to click approve, the AI validates the role and risk dynamically.
So if a senior engineer asks for read access to a log file during an incident,
the AI grants it immediately because the context justifies it. But if a junior intern asks for root access to the production database at 3 a.m.,
The AI says absolutely not and flags it for security. I love that.
It's intelligent gating.
It is. And this brings us to where this is all going. We're in the self-service phase now, but the trajectory is toward autonomous platforms.
Autonomous. That sounds
Big.
and maybe a little scary. What does the agentic future look like? Well, we're moving toward agents that handle multi-step workflows independently. Not just responding, but proactively managing the system. We're talking about self-healing, self-optimizing systems.
So a system that doesn't just fix a break, but notices performance is degrading and tunes itself.
Without a human ever touching it.
That changes the human role entirely, doesn't it? What do we do?
We move to AI ops supervision. We oversee the intelligence systems. We become the pilots watching the autopilot, not the mechanics turning the wrench. And honestly, we have to. The complexity of modern systems is just growing too fast for manual management.
It sounds great, but let's be honest about the challenges. We can't just hand the keys to the AI and walk away.
Absolutely not. Governance is the biggest challenge. You have the risk of over-automation and then, of course, model hallucinations.
Right. The AI confidently making a terrible decision, like deleting a database because it thought it was a test file.
Exactly. If an LLM hallucinates a configuration that opens a security hole, that's a disaster. That is why human-in-the-loop is non-negotiable for high-stakes scenarios. For a destructive action, the agent must get approval.
And what about data privacy? We're feeding these models all our logs, our secrets.
A massive concern. This is where the concept of private AI becomes critical. You can't just dump your enterprise data into a public chatbot. We're seeing a rise in things like the private AI appliance or private VPC approaches.
I saw this in the notes on lowtouch.ai's model. The idea that the automation happens securely on-site, in your own cloud.
Exactly. It ensures complete data control. The AI agents run inside your perimeter. The data never leaves your control. For enterprise adoption, that's the only way to go.
So if I'm a CTO listening to this and I'm realizing my team is drowning in tickets, how do I get started? It feels overwhelming.
Don't try to boil the ocean. Don't build Skynet on day one. Start by assessing your bottlenecks. Find the pain. Where is your team spending the most time waiting?
Start there.
Start there. Pilot an IDP with some AI integrations, maybe that environment provisioning use case. It's high value, high frequency, and relatively low risk.
Right.
Focus on AI literacy within your platform team. And remember, the goal is to free up innovation time. Start with the routine tasks, prove the value, then expand.
It's a journey, not a switch you flip.
No, but you do need to start walking the path.
So let's bring this all home. We started by talking about the unsung hero paradox.
And the key takeaway is that these are structural flaws, not individual failings. If your DevOps team is slow, it's because the structure of modern operations is broken. AI-powered platforms are the structural fix.
And the ROI isn't just saving money, it's faster velocity, reduced burnout, improved reliability.
It changes the nature of the work. We are moving from a world of firefighting to a world of strategic advantage.
I love that. Putting down the fire hose and picking up the architectural blueprints. So the question isn't if you'll adopt agentic AI in DevOps, but how fast you can do it to stop these hidden costs from eating your competitive edge.
That's the reality. The bottleneck is the new battleground.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought. We've talked a lot about the technology, the process, but I want you to think about the culture of your engineering team. Imagine a world where your smartest engineers are never interrupted by a ticket, where their curiosity is the only limit to their speed. What could your team build if the friction simply vanished? That's the promise here.
A very powerful vision.
Thank you so much for breaking all this down with us today.
My pleasure.
And to our listeners, keep asking questions, and we will see you on the next Agentic AI podcast.